Good morning, everyone. I hope you are safe and sound at these very difficult moments. My advice is stay home, trust your country. I'm Abdurrahim El Karfa, Professor of Applied Linguistics and Semantics at Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah University, Fez, the Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, Dar al Mehraz, the Department of English, the Modular Degree Program English Studies. And welcome to this introductory lecture on the Semantics course. In this introductory lecture, I would like to start with introducing semantics with a particular focus on course description and definitional issues that surrounded and shaped the emergence and growth and development of concerns in meaning and semantics. For the course description, it is divided into 4 parts. The first one is about the aims of the course, which are essentially to introduce you as students of linguistics to semantics as a branch of modern linguistics, to provide you with an adequate background in the various aspects of the discipline, and to develop your knowledge of what semantics is and what it is about, or what it is not and what it is not about. It also aims to introduce you to the major concepts, principles, theories, topics, issues, and questions involved in modern linguistics in general, and linguistic semantics in particular. It also aims to engage you, and this is very important, your engagement in critical thinking on the major components making up the content of the course. More importantly, it aims to promote your interest in semantic issues and your awareness of why the study of semantics matters. For the content of the course, it is divided into 4 main parts, and each part is made up of a number of components which are organized over 14 weeks, 14 videos, of course, since now it is online. The first part is entitled An Introduction to Modern Semantics, and it is made up of 3 components. The first one is the presentation and engaging students in the discussion of the course description, and the presentation and discussion of some definitional issues which characterized semantics. The second component will be devoted to traditional views on meaning and historical semantics. The third component will present and discuss the major gaps and continuities in modern linguistics, with a particular focus on the goals of semantic theory. The second part is entitled Defining Essential Concepts and Principles in Semantics, and it is also made up of 3 components. The first one focuses on the explanation and discussion of the principle of compositionality, which is a very important defining element of semantic analysis at present. The second component is about denotative versus connotative meaning. And the third component is about semantic fields and syntagmatic versus paradigmatic relations. As you can note, this part is made up of three essential pairs of dichotomies, which are very important in understanding the emergence of semantics and its growth and development and its situation today. The third part is entitled Paradigmatic Relations in Semantics, and it focuses on the definition and explanation of a number of concepts, namely synonymy, antonymy, polysemy, homonymy, and hyponymy, in addition to incompatibility, ambiguity, redundancy, and anomaly. The fourth part is devoted to the presentation and discussion and explanation of theories of meaning, and of course, the last session will be devoted to some concluding remarks. This part will present and discuss referential theories of meaning and mentalistic theories of meaning, with a particular focus on compositional truth-based semantics and Davidson theory of meaning and generative semantics. Another component will be devoted to the speech act theory, and of course the last lecture will be devoted to defining linguistic semantics, and the presentation and discussion of some summarizing connections, and it will be an opportunity to react to students' questions related to the different components of the course and to the exam. The third component, which is no less important than the content, which is the pedagogy and the assessment that will be used in this course. For the pedagogy, it is now online learning, and we will use all the tools possible: social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube, online platforms, websites, and emails. For the for assessment, now it is a final exam. I hope we can do it otherwise. Why the presentation of the course description in this introductory lecture? Because the course description is some sort of agreement, roadmap that would help students to do the necessary readings before listening to these audios and watching videos. And it is the road map to know where they are and where they are going to. The presentation and discussion of the course description in this introductory lecture is meant to create some sort of agreement between the teacher and students, and it is important to help students do the necessary readings to understand the components of the course. After the course description, I would like to present and discuss some of the most important definitional issues that characterizes semantics. There are definitional issues resulting from the difficulty of defining what semantics is or what it is not. Semantics is generally defined in the branch of linguistics which studies meaning. This definition focuses on linguistics as a branch of linguistics, that is, it limits the study of meaning to linguistics. Linguistic semantics is a relatively new emerging discipline and still in search of stable formulations and boundaries. And there is a general agreement among scholars in the field of semantics that the emergence of linguistic semantics goes back to the 1960s, which means that linguistic semantics is still in its infancy. It is still young as an academic discipline. In spite of its recent emergence as a field of study in modern linguistics, interest in meaning, the subject matter of semantics, has something of a checkered, changeable, and unstable history. Hence, to define what semantics is or what it is not, the good place to begin this journey into the complexities and complications of defining semantics is, or should be, the meaning of the word meaning itself. Because if semantics is the study of meaning, the question that rises here is, what does meaning itself mean? To define and understand what semantics is, or what it is not, what it is about and what it is not about, it is important and necessary to define meaning, or the aspects of meaning which fall within the scope of semantics in general and linguistic semantics in particular. The examination and the definition of meaning is very important. Why is it very important? It is a crucial and very important to define meaning, because if an adequate definition of meaning can be given, then it may be possible to define semantics. And this is simply because one cannot study what one does not know. However, semantics and meaning do not lend themselves to easy definitions. And therefore the bounds, the boundaries, territories, and the map of semantics and semantic study and its location in the map of human sciences in general and linguistics in particular are difficult to locate, to articulate, to demarcate. So meaning is a hard term to define. Why meaning is hard to define? The definitional difficulties and complexities surrounding semantics and meaning can be found in other academic disciplines, especially those in the humanities and social sciences. And semantics is arguably the humanistic science par excellence. The difficulties and complexities of defining semantics and its subject matter meaning is not a minus, is not a weakness of semantics. It merely explains the rich and challenging nature of the questions and issues that defined concerns in meaning in the past and that still define semantics at present and that will continue to define the study of meaning in the future. There are various factors for these difficulties of defining semantics and meaning. There are various areas of difficulty why defining semantics is not an easy task. So, the most important factors that explain why the definition and demarcation of semantics and its subject matter meaning are: first, people have since ancient times been interested in questions of meaning, and concern in meaning is one of the oldest and the most popular and the most constant preoccupations and activities of humankind. Therefore, meaning may mean many different things to many people. The second source of difficulty is that interest in meaning and linguistic meaning has a long and rich history, which can be traced back to Greek, Roman, Arab, and Indian philosophers. The third area of difficulty is that the study of meaning has a long history in a number of disciplines, particularly philosophy, logic, grammar, history, philosophy of language, linguistics, sociology, and many other disciplines, which are no less complicated than semantics. For example, language itself has been a subject of philosophical speculations, even from the ancient Greek times. And Greek philosophers were interested in meaning, in true meaning. They were interested in truth, the true meanings of the universe, of universal phenomena, either concrete or abstract. They were interested, and this is what was one of the ultimate goals of philosophy, which is the search for the true meanings of the universe, of water, of fire, of the existence of human beings themselves, and the existence of God, and many other complicated issues. So Greek philosophy was a kind of a journey into the truth, into true meaning. Further, logic demanded attention to linguistic aspects of meaning for the inductive and deductive formulations of logicians. The fourth area of difficulty is that it is almost impossible to engage in the study of meaning without addressing numerous issues which once again fall within the scope of different disciplines: linguistics, psycholinguistics, philosophy, issues which may not be considered properly semantic in nature or not central to the study of linguistic meaning. For all these reasons and difficulties, and many others, different and diverse, sometimes contradictory and conflicting definitions of meaning have been formulated and introduced to define and demarcate the subject matter of semantics, its scope, evolution, and growth. This context of emergence and growth of semantics is still influential on the articulation of the theoretical, thematic, conceptual, and methodological ground to study, understand, explain, and theorize meaning and meaning phenomena. These difficulties and lack of consensus and certainty that characterize the emergence and development of concerns in meaning and semantics and its subject matter, which is meaning, this uncertainty and lack of consensus caused considerable controversy, argument, and dispute. These controversies and dispute resulted in some claims that have been made that there can be no such thing as semantics or the scientific study of semantics and meaning. For example, I cite here Palmer, 1981, who notes that semantics is not a single well-integrated discipline, nor it is a clearly defined level of linguistics. This quote of Palmer shows the difficulty of defining semantics as a single, well-integrated, and a clearly defined field of study within modern linguistics. In the same line of argument, Frawley, 1992, which is frequently the most frequently cited scholar in the field of linguistic semantics, Frawley points out that there is even dispute about the possibility of semantic theory. However, scholars concerned with semantics and semantic analysis and study have done great efforts to make semantics an academic discipline, an independent academic discipline. And course books on semantics include suggestions and introductions to how to define semantics. And one of these suggestions is to articulate issues involved in constructing theory of semantics through the examination of some representative definitions of semantics and meaning. They suggest that such an examination would lead to a coherent understanding of linguistic semantics and meaning. However, before the presentation and discussion of a variety of definitions of semantics and linguistic semantics with which we are concerned most, I have, for pedagogical reasons, I have personally decided, for pedagogical reasons, of course, to start with a brief overview of the traditional views on meaning and the historical perspective on semantics or historical semantics. The presentation of this overview aims to introduce the context which surrounded traditional concern in the study of meaning and the context that shaped the emergence of semantics as an independent, multidisciplinary academic discipline within modern linguistics. These contexts would enable students to better understand the components making up this course. They would help you to better understand the theoretical, thematic, conceptual, and methodological issues, scope of semantics and linguistic semantics. And this introductory overview would help to fill some gaps that may exist for some students who may not have attended courses Introduction to Linguistics in semester 4. It also aims to hopefully promote students' interest in semantics and increase your appreciation of the issues and questions involved in this discipline. More importantly, it would help students to become aware of why semantics matters, why and how semantics is very important for their professional and academic future. So, after this overview of the most important areas of difficulty and complexity and complication that make defining semantics and the study of meaning not an easy task, the next lecture, the next video will be about traditional views on meaning and historical semantics. These two components of the course would help to understand the foundation of modern linguistics and the emergence of structuralism as the founding school, the defining school of modern linguistics. Thank you very much for your interest. Once again, stay home, trust your country.